Everyone, welcome to CT Custom Flooring and Design. We're working on a luxury vinyl tile, a commercial little commercial job we're working on today. We're just going to keep doing these videos. Appreciate you watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button and share. We'll try to get the information out there, and hopefully this is helpful to some people. So this is the tile we're going to lay today. So this is a luxury vinyl. It's a commercial grade tile. And a lot of people don't know this, but this stuff is really not, there's not much to it. It's pretty thin, but it does have a tough wear layer on it. So once it's down, it's pretty strong, and it can handle a lot of abuse. I think it has a 30-year commercial warranty to it, so they're pretty confident in its ability to withstand day-to-day, heavy traffic use. I know they use this stuff in airports and all over the place, so it's tough stuff. So we got the subfloor all down, and we worked on that, and as you can see, it's about every 4 inches. It's stapled down with a 1/4 inch, about a 1 1/4 inch leg on that. Quite a few staples. We hit every X, and it's down solid. The walls in here, I mean, this is an old building, so you can see we working through some of these doorways. We didn't get everything perfectly tight together, but it's, we got a floor patch that we're going to use on that and fill all those imperfections and just touch things up. So we're going to go through and we're going to just go over this floor real good with a hammer and some putty knives or whatever, and just make sure all these staples, there's only a few thousand in here. Make sure they're all countersunk so they're not poking up through the floor.
So like that guy right there is one that's sticking up. We'll have to fix that one.
But if we don't get those flattened out, they will show through this floor. So we're gonna make sure those are all down. The patching product we're gonna use is this Ardex Feather Edge. It's fantastic. It bonds really good. You don't want to get it on your hands because I think it's got some acrylic in it, and it's kind of a pain to get off, but it's tough stuff. So we use that, had great luck with that, and we'll show you a little more of that when we get into that. And first off, we're going to get this floor all scraped down and make sure we got all these staples down where they need to be. But as you can see, we've got the floor all cleaned, and we're ready to get busy on that and knock this job out. Okay, so we're just going through the floor now, and we're making sure all these staples are down. There's, like I said, there's probably 4,000 or 5,000 staples in this little area. But so we're just going through, knocking them down. We don't want those coming up through the new floor, so we're making sure everything's flat. Going along. For the most part, this is, it countersinks most of these, but I've tried every setting on that gun, and you still get a few here and there. See, like right there, we got one. And that is just barely up, but it's enough to wreak havoc on your new floor. So we're gonna knock that down. What helps me is I tilt the hammer just a little tiny bit. That way it just puts more pressure on that exact point right there on that top of that staple. And I don't want to create dents in this underlayment. I just want to countersink that staple just a little bit. It doesn't take much. You don't have to come in here like a caveman and put a hole through the next layer, but you want those flat.
Have you ever had a caveman that works for you?
I have,
okay.
but that's what apprentices do sometimes.
Yes, they do.
Right?
So do you have time lapse on the phone setting?
I don't know, probably.
because like mine does, it's time lapse on the phone. Like, I mean, chocolate does have a time lapse setting.
Okay, so we got the floor all clean. We made sure all the staples are countersunk. And our next step was we're going to chalk the line. We did chalk the line here. But let me explain to you how I did it. So the tiles are 12 by 24 nominally. And so what I like to do is I don't want to I kind of split the room so I center the tile. So the way I've got it figured is I'm going to end up with about an 8-inch piece on both sides of the room. And you don't want to end up with a tiny...
Both sides of the line?
Room.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So we don't want that. That gives us enough room. That gives us 4 inches of play to absorb any imperfections along this wall. I mean, this is an old building. It's got a lot of crooked walls in it. We can work with that. You know, we're problem solvers here. We get stuff done and figure out what's going to be best for the outcome of the job. So we'll have to trim and as we go along this wall, which is not a big deal. So we got this line chalked, and now we're going to just work on getting these some of these gaps and voids along the wall here, or against in the middle of the subfloor. We'll get those filled in, those low spots and gaps. Okay, we're going to mix up a little patch here. Like I said in the beginning, we'll use this Ardex feather finish patch. So it has the correct mixing ratio on it, which gives you optimal performance and everything probably out of this. I'm not mixing up a whole bag, and that's what that ratio gives you, is to mix a full bag. I just need maybe a quarter of a bag. I don't need a lot. So I'm just gonna, you know, after years of mixing this stuff, I'm just going to mix that up and just you kind of just get the feel for it. Okay, there's not a lot in there, but you know, we don't need a whole lot for what we're doing. We just got a few little gaps and uneven spots that we're going to fill in. So let's get to it. The consistency on that, I mean, it's not, honestly, it's probably about like peanut butter. It's not, you don't want it too thick because it'll start to set up on you and you don't get the spread you want on it. So we'll just fill these in, and then once that sets up, we'll come back and kind of hit it with the scraper. This stuff doesn't take too long to dry. You know, probably a half an hour or so, it should be good to go. I made the mistake of not using a real clean bucket too, so I'm getting a few chunks here and there. Okay, so we got all these seams patched and all those imperfections filled. We're just going to give it a few minutes, then we'll come back through here with the putty knife and scrape it down a little bit. Should be ready to go. Should be ready to do some gluing. Okay, so we got this, all this patch is about dry. We got it scraped and knocked down a few more staples, so I think we're ready for glue. So again, this is pressure sensitive glue. It's a firm set, and the trowel we're going to use is just this 16th notch trowel. That's the recommendation. If this was concrete, you could go a little less adhesive probably. But this this wood underlayment is going to soak up just a little bit, so we want to make sure we have plenty of coverage there to get a good bond on this tile, hold it down. So we'll get busy with that. Okay, like I talked about, we in the last video, the pressure sensitive glue kind of dries a little more clear, but I mean, I can clearly see my reference line there, so we'll follow that when we start putting the tile down. But we're just going to let this this set up. It needs to be kind of needs to be dry to the touch, I guess. I don't know, you don't want it coming off on your finger when you touch it, so we'll let it dry. And we got everything glued. It didn't take long. It's only about 500 square feet. It's not a very big area, so we'll get after it here in a second. Okay, so this glue is ready, and we're just going to stay on that chalked line and get this floor all laid out. You just want to make sure you check that and it doesn't come off in your finger. It's ready to start putting your tile in. Okay folks, well, we are wrapping up this job here. So we got this floor all done and we got it rolled a couple directions. Turned out good. It's a nice update for this, you know, time we get the been under there, and you know, it's a nice update for these old offices. So we will wrap this video up and appreciate you watching it. Thanks.